Hi everyone, I'm Ian. We're talking here at our Michigan TypeScript. We're doing some lightning talks covering changes in various TypeScript versions. We're up to 5.1. And the change I'm talking about now is explicit typeRoots disables upward walks for node modules types. Very exciting stuff here. What are typeRoots? So as a little bit of a background, TypeScript can look for type definitions for a package somewhere other than where that package lives, right? This is where definitely typed works. By default, those live in node modules /at types. But you can also specify your own directories in typeRoots, and it'll look there instead. It's mostly a legacy option. Most people won't need to set this. I had it set until I was preparing for these talks because I thought I needed it, but it turns out I didn't. And it's actually a lot simpler if you remove it, and I'll talk about why. But as long as you have your .d.ts definition files in your include setting in your TS config, you probably don't need to set typeRoots explicitly. And new in 5.1, if you do set them explicitly, there's some changes. So previously, TypeScript would try to find types in all parent node modules /at types. So if you're in a monorepo, for example, and you're importing a whatever Jest or React or what have you, and it couldn't find it in the node modules types, it'll keep looking up your file system until it hits the root of your directories, and that was causing excessive lookups. So now, if you are specifying typeRoots explicitly, it will no longer do that. And so, if you're relying on ambient definitions for Jest or Node or something like that, this doesn't apply if you're importing from a module. If you do an explicit import foo from React, that's fine. But if you're sort of relying on them being there globally, and you have a typeRoots specified, you may need to add node modules types back to your yes.
Okay, this is very exciting. I've hit a situation, maybe others have too, where Jest creates globals for what is it?
Expect.
Yeah.
And describe.
Also I've worked in projects where that use Jest, but also have what's the other one before Jest? Jasmine.
Jasmine
on the side as well.
Or something,
well, guess what? Jasmine also globally defines these, and they. Yeah, exactly. And they fight with each other. So is this a method by which I could unfight them?
I would actually recommend specifying types explicitly. There's another option called types. So this is controlling where TypeScript will look for anything, right? But types itself, if you specify an array of types, that means these are, after you've gone and found all of those things, these are the packages that I want to allow to be ambient, that I want to be global. So if you had a different TS config for the part of your project using Mocha or Jasmine and the part of your project using Jest, you could specify Jasmine in one and Jest in the other and get the correct types. Just be aware that if you do specify that types, that's all you have to add in explicitly the ones that you want, which I do. I don't want Jest. I don't use Jest, but I have it installed for some other reasons. I import directly from it in a few cases. And if I just left it there at the default, it would be there defined for everything, and I don't want that because I use vtest. The other thing that I hit, because I was using typeRoots, even though it turns out I didn't need to, I was specifying in that types array vite/client, I think. Vite has its own global types that you can install to handle things like CSS modules and things like that. And so I had that specified, and then I started getting these errors because of this change, because it was no longer looking in node modules to find Vite's types. And it needs to be node modules, the parent node modules. If you try node modules /Vite, it won't find them. You have to do the top level. So that's just a small caveat for anyone else that hit that like I did. Either get rid of your typeRoots, you probably don't need it, or you have to specify node modules, or your parent's node modules or whatever, right, if you're in a monorepo. And yeah, it might particularly impact monorepos. So you may need to do ... node modules or ... /... or whatever, like depending on your directory structure, you may have to put that in. Or again, just delete the type roots.